NFL mock draft right here. They just put this out just a couple of years ago. I'm going to share this mock draft with y'all from PFF. PFF is on some bullshit, but still we keep them as a relevant track, right? You look at PFF just to get an understanding, get an idea of what's going on in the draft world, right? The value. And we go down, you see pick 7. We ain't top 10, boy. We made the playoffs, you know what I mean? We got a couple wins, you know what I mean? So we later in the draft, you know. We not early like these other losers. These dudes are some losers, you know what I mean? They picking top 20 because they ain't winning like that. You know what I mean? We got pick 22. Pick 22. PFF says pick 22, the Las Vegas Raiders draft wide receiver Jameson Williams, Alabama. How would y'all feel about taking Jameson Williams from Alabama coming off of this injury? Now it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how this draft plays out because, like I said earlier, look, there's a couple guys and our boy Agent Red bought one up earlier, London out of USC. He's dealing with the injury. Okay. Also, we have Jameson Williams. Obviously, he's dealing with the injury. Would y'all want to bring in another Alabama wide receiver when we just had Ruggs? We just had Cooper. This would be the third one. You know what I mean? Is it third time's a try? Or third time's a try? Look at me. Third time's a try. You know what I mean? Third time's a charm. Is that the case here? I don't know, man. I don't really like the injury. One, I don't really like the fact that we've gone after so many Alabama receivers and it just hasn't worked out. That's what gets me. And I understand that people will say, look, it doesn't matter what school they come out of. It doesn't really matter what school that they've gone to. You just get the best player, the player you want. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, man, 3 Alabama receivers in a row, y'all. And we don't even have the other 2. We don't even have the other 2. You feel me? So it's a give and take right there. It's definitely a give and take. But let's go ahead and read what they had put. So they said Las Vegas Raiders wide receiver Jameson Williams out of Alabama with the 22nd pick. And it says take away the late season ACL injury, and Williams is likely going a lot higher than this. But even though there's a good chance he'll miss a chunk of his rookie NFL season due to rehab, Williams possesses rare athletic ability to stretch the field and get yards after the catch. The Raiders need a young speed element at wide receiver. So most definitely, man, I don't know if I would really want to go after him. I'm not really high on wide receivers that are coming off of injury, especially if they're not even going to be able to play, you know what I mean, the next season because they'll be in rehab. That right there is just going to throw me off. That right there is definitely going to throw me off. And I don't know how I feel about that. Also, to add to it, let's go ahead and look at some wide receivers that went before him, right? Let's just look here remotely close, right? Nothing too crazy. Okay, George Pickens goes at 18 to the Saints. So 18 there's a wide receiver. And if you go down, you got Garrett Wilson at Ohio State. And Drake London goes number 10 to the Jets via Seattle. Now, that's interesting because this is the other wide receiver that we were talking about that has an injury, but a lot of people are high on, right? Let's see what they say real quick. London seems like a match made in heaven for the Jets. No wide receiver recorded more contested catches this season, and that's with him only playing 8 games due to injury. But if you ask me, he's more than that. I believe he's more athletic than people are giving him credit for. And his mentality for yards after the catch is proof that he's not just a win in the air guy. He's the big target player quarterback Zach Wilson would feed every week. And so with that description right there, it almost makes you feel like you'd rather go after London, right? They have him going number 10 overall, but you have Jameson Williams going 22nd to us. Let's go ahead and hop in the chat to see how everybody feels about that one, man. So everybody feels about that one. EJ says he likes London more. Okay. Alex says, give me Drake London or Burks, 100%. Burks looks like a dog. I ain't gonna lie. Burks is the type of player to where he's built a certain way and he has God-given abilities to where you just mold him. right? You just get that guy and say, look, we're gonna mold you into we're gonna mold you into a great wide receiver because you have the physical aspects, right? You have the God-given talents. We just got to mold you into that polished wide receiver. And I wouldn't mind doing that because that means you have a huge ceiling. You have untapped potential. So I wouldn't be mad at going after Burks. Dude's huge. He's fast. Definitely would love going after a guy like that. Susan says, I think we go FA for a top wide receiver and then pick up a wide receiver in the draft later rounds. I could see that because this draft is so deep with wide receivers that you can wait in later rounds. And I've said it before, I want to bring in a veteran wide receiver, but also bring in a rookie wide receiver. So I want to be opposed to that, Susan. 100% agree with you. Dangerfield also says, I worry about the injury history. That bites us every time, no matter, no more Bama boys. And, it is interesting. He says, no more Bama boys. And I definitely agree, bro. It's an interesting aspect. We go 3 Alabama wide receivers in a row. I don't know how I'd feel about that. James Furbo says, feel the same way as you talking, Ray. Yes, sir, brother. Appreciate that. And Arturo. So we seen right here, the Jets take Drake London at 10. Arturo says, let's trade up draft day for Drake London. He's a monster. And that's interesting aspect. I don't know if I'd want to trade up, right? I don't think we have the capital, in my opinion. I don't think we have the capital to trade up, especially just to go get a wide receiver. I know he's good, and I know we need the position filled, but I don't think it's that much of a concern to where we have to start trading up for receivers, right? I don't want to overcompensate. I don't want to overcompensate to get a receiver when there's so many in free agency and there's so many in the draft.